Are you looking for all the latest pro football news and content? Of course you are. Who doesn't love football? The question is, how do you get all the latest pro football news and content? There's so many different pro football podcasts on the internet. Which one do you choose? Which one is the right fit for you? Well, you go with the Cross the Middle Show, one of the fastest growing football podcasts out right now. Over the past year, we've climbed the Spotify rankings and become a show you have to listen to if you're a football fan. Find out the Ravens will go all the way with Odell Beckham Jr. Find out the Eagles did enough to make it back to the Super Bowl. You'll get all of our best stories for just $1 per month. All you have to do is sign up by clicking the link in the episode description box. I'm John Kuzmo. Welcome back to another episode of the Cross the Middle Show, the place for all your latest pro football news and action. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We're going to start with the 49ers game and their win over the Steelers. We're also going to talk about the Cowboys absolutely demolishing the Giants. So let's start with the 49ers. So in this 49ers game, there was really two people that stood out to me. That was Christian McCaffrey and it was Brandon Ayuk. And Christian McCaffrey started off this game, with a run left, a run to the middle, another run to the middle. He was chipping away at the Steelers defense. But really what stood out to me was the big run that he had. He's in traffic. He hits this spin move in traffic, gets to the left sideline, takes off down the left sideline, catches a block from Brandon Ayuk, does a good job of sticking with it. A defender kind of got out in front of him and almost had a chance to tackle him. He stuck with it, kind of dipped in, then dipped back out, found a way to get into the end zone, and just a strong performance from Christian McCaffrey in this game. Did a good job of just, doing the same thing he's done since he's gotten to San Francisco, which is be effective at, running the ball, be effective at catching the ball out of the backfield, being the big play guy for them. Ever since he's been there, he's kind of injected this big play capability into this team to the point where he's explosive, and they know that they have a dynamic weapon in their backfield with Christian McCaffrey, and he proved it once again in this game. One of the really key pieces in this win for the 49ers did a good job of, just getting after it against a Steelers defense that really was outgunned in this game because of just how explosive the 49ers are on the offense side of the ball. And, when Christian McCaffrey got to the 49ers, they became a different team. They're still this team that's at the top of the NFC and really just making big play after big play with Christian McCaffrey and Brock Purdy and the rest of the guys they have there on that offense. They're different. Ever since Christian McCaffrey got there, they've been different. The Steelers got to witness it firsthand. They couldn't stop Christian McCaffrey. And, that spin move in traffic that he hit, to be able to hit that in traffic, defenders all around him, right up the middle, and be able to do that, then drift it to the left sideline, then take off down the left sideline all the way for a touchdown. Like I said, did catch a block from Brandon Ayuk there down that left sideline. But just a huge play for Christian McCaffrey. And this is what he's done. This is what he's always done since he's became a 49er. It's so impressive to watch. And obviously after that game, it doesn't look like it's slowing down anytime soon because Christian McCaffrey is a force to be reckoned with in this offense. When you have Kyle Shanahan scheming up plays for him, when you have all the weapons that the 49ers have on their offense, and then you have one of the most dynamic running backs in the league in Christian McCaffrey that can do so many things well in this offense. Like I said, run the ball like we saw on that run, catching the ball out of the backfield like we saw today. Just a really good dual threat running back that has lived up to the hype ever since he's been a 49er. The other guy I want to talk about is Brandon Ayuk. Early on in the game, he shakes a defender out of his shoes on the first touchdown in the game. Just shakes the defensive back and, turns it into a post route over the middle, catches a touchdown, gets the party started for the 49ers, sets the tone in this game. And, that helped the 49ers gain confidence early on in this game. Now, don't get me wrong, the 49ers were expected to win this game, but it is the NFL. And the NFL is so competitive that, anything can happen. That's why we say any given Sunday. So for Brandon Ayuk to come out and get that touchdown early on and set the tone in this game, believe me, that was huge for the 49ers. The last thing you want to do is start off on the wrong foot. Brandon Ayuk was not going to let that happen. Like I said, the defender completely got lost on that play, actually fell down. In basketball, if that happens, you hear the crowds go, ooh, because, someone's ankles just got broke. Well, Brandon Ayuk broke that defensive back's ankles, catches a touchdown over the middle, gets the 49ers out to a nice start in this game, and then kept his foot on the gas. That other touchdown he had deep down, I think it was the right sideline. He's right near the sideline, and the defender's right on him. It's kind of like a 50-50 ball, jump ball situation. Ayuk goes up, catches the football, and what was really impressive about that play is he didn't have a lot of room to work with, so he had to get both feet down, took some concentration to be able to get both feet down on that play, was able to do it, and catches another touchdown for the 49ers offense. Just great all-around work by Brandon Ayuk in this game. Has some other nice catches to it. Really just went to work against the Steelers team, was the best pass catcher in this game for the 49ers, was better than, Deebo Samuel and George Kittle in this game. That's just the reality of the situation. Brandon Ayuk came to play. He was on the same page with Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy kept looking his way. We've been hearing about how good Brandon Ayuk has been in training camp and throughout those off-season practices. Well, clearly is translated into the games because Brandon Ayuk could not be contained by the Steelers defense. Had a really good outing, goes for a pair of touchdowns. And hey, in the National Football League, that's about as a good a start you could ask for, because 2 big touchdowns in a win over the Steelers. It was a great day overall for Brandon Ayuk, and he is only getting better. You remember when they took this guy in the first round, they had high expectations for him. He's obviously arriving at those expectations because he's living up to everything they expected out of him at this point in his career. He just keeps getting better, and that's the most promising sign for Brandon Ayuk, because early on, they wanted a little bit more from him. Remember that. Well, now, he's leading the way for this team. So it just goes to show that sometimes you got to stay patient, and Brandon Ayuk has done everything that he possibly could do to put himself in this position to have this kind of success. So he's done remarkable work on his end to arrive at this point. A lot of God-given abilities too, just fluid in and out of his breaks, so good at selling his routes, confident now. That's really what we're seeing from Brandon Ayuk, because he's always had the skill and the talent. He's more confident now, though, and he's putting it all together, and it's really turning into a quality brand of football. He's playing at a high level, leading the way for the 49ers right now. So I think the 49ers are very happy with Brandon Ayuk right now. How could they not be after what he just did today? The other story we have is the Cowboys game, and I actually left the Cowboys game, or I was watching the Cowboys game on TV, and there was like 6 minutes left, and the game was 40-0. The Cowboys were just beating the snot out of the Giants to the point where it wasn't even watchable anymore because the Giants were just so pathetic in this game. It was hard to watch, and that's how convincing the Cowboys were in this very first game of the regular season. They were so convincing. They were the most convincing team in week 1 by far. That win was just a blowout for the Dallas Cowboys. The Giants didn't stand a chance. They absolutely destroyed Daniel Jones in this game to the point where people have to be wondering why the Cowboys gave Daniel Jones all that money, because he was awful in this game. Micah Parsons is the guy that really took over. They didn't have an answer for Micah Parsons at all. And because they had to spend so much time, game planning and accounting for Micah Parsons, it really opened things up for the other defensive linemen in this game because they were doubling and triple teaming Micah Parsons, and that was opening up holes for these other pass rushers to get to Daniel Jones. And, last time I checked, they had 6 sacks in this game. Like I said, I left to film or to record this podcast, I should say, with 6 minutes left. It was 40-0, all Cowboys. Giants weren't even worth watching because it was such a blowout. Mike Parsons had a sack. I don't know how he didn't have more than 1 sack. Last time I checked the stats, he had 1 sack. But to me, watching the game, I could have swore he had 3 sacks in this game. They just didn't have an answer for him. I mean, I seen the one time he got blocked initially, then he went through the A-gap, it got right to Daniel Jones, threw him down. There was a bad snap. I think he got to Daniel Jones on. It was just so many big plays from Micah Parsons. And what was really amazing about this is the Cowboys are just lining him up everywhere. They're lining him up on the left side, on the right side, in the middle. They're just putting him everywhere. So it's even tougher to game plan for Micah Parsons because you never know where he's going to line up. You have to always account for number 11, and you have to identify where he's lined up pre-snap at all times because that's where the initial pressure is going to come from every time. He was getting off the edges and, beating, the tackles for the Giants all night long, whether it was Evan Neal or Thomas. It was a mismatch all night long. And, like I said, the other guys, DeMarcus Lawrence, the other defensive lineman for the Cowboys really started taking bites out of Daniel Jones too because, like I said, with the double teams going towards Parson, with the triple teams going towards Parson, that gave those other defensive linemen a chance to eat. And believe me when I say this, they took advantage of it. There was just no life at all for the Giants. Excuse me. They blocked a field goal early on in this game. The Cowboys blocked a field goal. They picked it up and scored. I think it was on the very first drive for the Giants. It was early on in the game, and it really was a devastating blow to the Giants right away in this game because they had a nice little drive downfield. It eventually stalls out. They have to settle for 3. Well, the kick gets blocked, and the Cowboys take it the other way, score a touchdown, and it's just a complete flip in momentum in this game. Another play, Micah Parsons flushes Daniel Jones out of the pocket. He's drifting towards the sideline. He tries to throw the football. He throws it right to one of the Cowboys' cornerbacks, Stephon Gilmore. Stephon Gilmore digs it out, makes an interception, and you could just see that Daniel Jones was running for his life in this game, and he was overwhelmed by the pass rush that the Cowboys were able to generate in this game. He just stood no chance, and he was constantly under fire from every angle to the point where it was just suffocating for Daniel Jones, suffocating for the Giants offense. Saquon Barkley catches a swing pass out of the backfield. Trayvon Diggs lights him up. The ball pops out. One of I think it was Bland, the Cowboys defensive back Bland, who ended up catching the ball after it got knocked out. He returned it for a touchdown. So the Cowboys defense really stepped up in this game against the Giants, and there was nothing there for the Giants. Their offense was non-existent. They didn't look like that team that went to the playoffs at all. I mean, if this is the Giants, they've regressed. They've taken a big step backwards. It didn't matter that Brian Daboll was their head coach. Maybe it's just a sign of how good the Cowboys are because, like I said, the most convincing win we've seen up through this first week. No one has been close to the Cowboys and what they've been able to do. This was the most impressive win, and if this is a sign of what's to come from the Cowboys, I mean, this might be the best team in football. I didn't see anybody else dominating like that. Don't get me wrong. The 49ers put it to the Steelers. That was a convincing win. But the Cowboys were able to trump that with what they did to the Giants. And the Giants were a playoff team this past year. The Steelers weren't. So, like I said, if you're a Cowboys fan, you're feeling really good right now. Micah Parsons everywhere. Stephon Gilmore making an immediate impact with the interception that he had on the sideline when Daniel Jones was about to run out of bounds, decided to heave it out of desperation, throws a low pass. It's Stephon Gilmore's right there, digs it out, completes the interception. Big play for Stephon Gilmore. Then Trayvon Diggs with the hit on Saquon Barkley on the swing pass. So Stephon Gilmore, Trayvon Diggs, they did a good job in this first game for the Cowboys. Micah Parsons was flat out dominant. Nobody had an answer for him. He was all over Daniel Jones all night long. Just a really impressive win for the Cowboys. And Dallas is right there. You look at the three teams in the NFC. It's Cowboys, 49ers, and it's Eagles. Well, I watched the Eagles and the Patriots game today, and I wasn't that convinced by the Eagles win over the Patriots. The Patriots had a chance to win that game late in the fourth quarter. I think it was, Mac Jones threw a pass to Booty, the receiver for the Patriots, and he was just out of bounds. But they were driving downfield, had a chance to beat the Eagles on the final drive. Booty was out of bounds. Only got 1 foot down, so the catch didn't count. But it wasn't a very convincing win for the Eagles. 49ers were more convincing than the Eagles were, and the Cowboys were the most convincing. So if you had to do a power rankings in the NFC, it might honestly be Cowboys, 49ers, Eagles. Just off what we saw in this first week, it could easily be 49ers, Cowboys, Eagles. And who knows, maybe the Eagles are better than the Cowboys. Maybe the Giants are just a bad football team this year. Nowhere near what they were last year. But, if you just go off what we saw, like I said, Cowboys were the most convincing. 49ers were the second most convincing. Eagles are probably third in the NFC power rankings. So that's the top of the NFC. Those are the teams that we have to keep an eye on. It's Cowboys, 49ers, Eagles. Like I said, 49ers may be the best team. They've had the Cowboys number recently. So that's what we have to keep an eye on. But if you're a Cowboys fan, you're feeling really good right now because that defense took over in this game. That defense, might be the best defense in all of football this year. And Micah Parsons is playing at such a high level that it's making all the players around him better. Cowboys have upgraded their secondary as well too. They're good on special teams. Obviously, they blocked the field goal, took it to the house. So Cowboys are looking really good right now, and we'll see if they can challenge the Eagles and the 49ers for that top spot in the NFC. They're certainly going to have a chance to do so. I'm John Kuzma. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for listening to the Across the Middle Show. We're available wherever podcasts are found. Just look for the Across the Middle Show. I'm John Kuzma. I'm signing off. Have a great night.